Just a year ago, Yamal lit up Euros 2024, a teenager playing like a superstar, sliding through defenders and showing maturity far beyond his age. It was his global announcement, and the expectations were sky high, but somehow this season, he's managed to exceed them. From rising talent to Ballon d'Or contender, Yamal has gone from promise to pure dominance, and we might be witnessing the start of something legendary. But here is the thing, Yamal's rise was expected, we all saw it coming. However, players on this list, we already knew them too. We have seen flashes of their talent before, but no one expected this level. Some of them became leaders, others turned into game changers, but all of them made a leap that few saw coming, and now they are playing the best football of their careers. So let's look at them. These are top 8 most progressing players of season 24-25. Starting with a player who went from a bench warmer to Anfield's anchor, Gravenberch. Now, let's be honest, nobody had Gravenberch on their breakout list back in August 2024. In fact, most of Liverpool fans were not even sure if he had future at this club. He was just coming off a frustrating first season, barely any starts, some flashes of brilliance but zero consistency. And let's face the fact that if Klopp could not unlock him, who else even could? The answer was Arne Slot. From the moment he walked through the doors of Anfield, Slot saw something that others could not. Instead of pushing Dutchman forward, he dropped him even deeper. A player known for attacking runs was suddenly handed the keys to the number 6 role. And like a miracle, it worked straight away. From day one, Gravenberch started bossing the games. Smooth under pressure, impossible to dispossess, and shockingly solid defensively. His positioning was on the point, his work rate was through the roofs, and the way he was winning the ball and instantly launching counterattacks became his trademark. By May 2025, he already played 47 games. And these are not just cameos, these are full games. That's over 4,000 minutes across this campaign. And what's even more impressive is that no Liverpool midfielder has done it since 2016. And along with his playing time, his other statistical numbers are impressive as well. He had 57 interceptions, more than any midfielder in the Premier League, 89% pass accuracy, and over 2 tackles and 2 interceptions every game. One of his standout defensive games came in the Champions League on San Siro against AC Milan. Ryan put the monster shift, recording 10 possession recoveries and 7 interceptions. That's the most by Liverpool midfielders in Europe since Mascherano. Just think about that. In just one season, he went from forgotten bench warmer to the anchor of Premier League winning midfield. And by the end of the campaign, he was talked as one of, if not the best defensive midfielder in entire Premier League. Seventh spot goes for a player whose journey looks like a Hollywood comeback, Sandro Tonali. From being one of Serie A's top midfielders to facing a career-threatening suspension for betting violations to now dominating again, but this time in the Premier League. Last August, Tonali returns to St. James Park with everything to prove after 10 months absence. Fans were doubting his comeback. Could he regain the form and justify Newcastle's massive 58.9 million investment? Initially, Eddie Howe carefully eased Tonali back into action, with cautious minutes against Nottingham Forest in the League Cup. Sure, flashes of brilliance appeared, but it looked like rust remained, leaving the fans uncertain and hoping for the best. But then everything changed in the late November. Eddie Howe repositioned Tonali deeper in the midfield, alongside Bruno Guimaraes and Joelinton, and instantly his precise passing, his tactical awareness and defensive grit reshaped Newcastle's midfield entirely. Instantly, Tonali exploded into the form in December. In a 4-0 win against Leicester City, he was the best player on the pitch, winning 8 duels, making 3 interceptions and boasting 91% accuracy rate. And he quickly became one of Premier League's standout midfielders. However, his biggest moment was yet to come. Tonali was crucial as Newcastle ended their 70-year trophy draw, winning the Carabao Cup against Liverpool at Wembley. Even before they reached the final, Tonali was unstoppable in the earlier rounds, where he scored twice in a 3-1 win, completing 56 out of 60 passes and winning most tackles and duels on the pitch, earning the highest 8.5 rating in the game against Brentford. And funnily enough, Brentford suffered again later, as Tonali stunned them with an unbelievable goal from an impossible angle. After the game, when Tonali was asked if that was a deliberate strike, Tonali modestly laughed it off, calling the goal 70% cross and 30% shot. By the end of spring, Tonali's redemption arc was complete. His vital goal against Chelsea secured Champions League football for Newcastle and earned him an Italy recall, a symbolic moment of triumph and another and maybe the last chance for Tonali to play the elite level football which he was always capable of. Number 6 on our list is the engine of Barcelona, Pedri Gonzalez. After the years of injury setbacks, the hype around Pedri was cooled. Going into 24-25 season, fans were unsure, was he still the future of Barcelona's midfield? The talent was never the question, but the durability and influence, that's what people doubted. And then came Hansi Flick, new manager, new plan, and a total reset for Pedri. Flick did not just change tactics, he changed everything around Pedri's fitness. No more heavy gym lifting, instead short explosive sessions, sprint drills and reaction training, all designed to protect those hamstrings. And most importantly, he kept Pedri playing. My body responds better when I have a rhythm, when I play constantly, not when I stop and restart. That's Pedri's words to the media in the interview, and that's the one thing that needed to switch, for everything to suddenly click. He finally stayed fit all season, played more minutes than any Barca midfielder, and finally looked the best version of himself, or even maybe the best playmaker in the entire football world. Under Hansi Flick, Pedri's role changed completely. He became the engine of the team, covering over 11 km per game in the Champions League matches, tripling his progressive carries compared to the last season, and also while his attacking influence grew, so did his defensive work rate. Beyond just controlling the tempo of the game, it now feels like every Barcelona attack starts with Pedri. And also he started to deliver in the big games. In Copa del Rey final, in the tie against Real Madrid, he smashed the screamer into the top corner. Against Dortmund in the Champions League second game when Barcelona had problems, his second half sub calmed the chaos and shifted the momentum. Even his teammates and rivals have noticed. Raphinha emphasized that if Pedri is not on the pitch, something is missing in their game. And Toni Kroos, the rival team's legend, called Pedri the best midfielder in the world in the current season. And by the end of it, the verdict was clear. If Pedri manages to stay fit, he is not just Barcelona's future, he is one of the best playmakers in the modern football world. But now the big question is, can he do it again in the next year? What do you think? Fifth place is Nuno Mendes, and what a comeback season it's been for him. At the start of season 24-25, expectations were more or less low. After missing nearly a full season with a nasty hamstring injury and playing just 14 games last season, many wondered if Mendes would ever get to his explosive best. PSG fans doubted his durability, and also tactics were messy, especially post-Mbappe period, and the squad felt unbalanced. Which sounds hilarious given the trajectory that PSG went after January. But at the start of the season, things looked uncertain. But from the moment the season kicked off, Mendes started shutting up everyone with his performances. Under Luis Enrique, he's already played 40 plus appearances across all competitions, more than double last year, and he's done it on the elite level consistency, especially in the Champions League where Mendes was nothing short of the world class. His most standout game was of course PSG vs Liverpool. Round of 16, Mo Salah, the most informed player in the world at that time, lines up against Mendes. And guess what happened? Salah get locked down completely. Mendes not only neutralized him, he helped to set up PSG's opener goal by releasing Dembele down the left. And also don't forget his goal line clearance against Salah, which had the direct effect on the final score. After the game, L'Equipe called Salah the non-entity in this game, and Jamie Carragher mentioned that Mendes was brilliant and outstanding in both legs. And that was not a one-game thing, Mendes was spectacular the whole season. In Champions League alone, he had 4 goals and 1 assist, 2.5 successful dribbles per 90 minutes, and incredible 66% success rate. Also defensively he had 3 tackles and 1.5 interceptions per every game, and his decision-making also flourished. Mendes Mendes used to be raw, fast, flashy, but sometimes chaotic. But now he's refined, smarter and more positionally aware. And the trust that PSG has in him was showed midway through the season, when PSG gave him the new contract, a clear sign that they see him as a cornerstone of their future. And let's be honest that with performances like this, it's not even a debate anymore. Nuno Mendes is clearly back, and he might just be the best left back in the world football right now. Fourth spot is Scott McTominay. The same player who was a backup at Manchester United is now MVP of Serie A and a cult hero of Napoli. Last summer, McTominay made a late €25 million move to Napoli. Most people saw it as a depth signing, solid, hardworking, but not flashy. But Antonio Conte had other plans. Conte gave him a role no one expected. He gave him a freedom, no more sitting deep. McTominay was let loose as a box-to-box powerhouse, and in that role he suddenly erupted. Just 25 seconds into one of his first matches against Como, he managed to score, and that goal was just the beginning. By the end of the season, he has 12 goals and 6 assists in Serie A, more than any Scottish player has ever scored in a single Serie A campaign. And these were big goals, match openers, match winners, clutch moments, and even season winners. His peak performances came in April. 5 goals in 3 games, 2 versus Empoli, 1 against Monza, and a game-winning brace against Torino that sent Napoli back to the top of the table. All 3 matches were won thanks to him, and that was done in the crucial period of the season, while fighting for Scudetto against Inter. After one of McTominay's performances, Antonio Conte, the man behind Napoli's resurgence and the coach who unlocked McTominay's full potential, did not hold back his praising words regarding Scott. He never had a leader role at Manchester United. Here we gave him one, and he's become a team's undisputed leader. And the fans are obsessed with him. One even tattooed his name and number 8. And after title-winning goals that McTominay scored, their love became even deeper. If Kvaratskhelia was the face of Napoli in 2023 title run, then in 2025 it's McTominay who stepped up, becoming the heartbeat of Napoli's push for their 4th Scudetto. Bronze spot on this list is for a player who's gone from Crystal Palace flair merchant to Bayern Munich's breakout star, Michael Olise. At Palace, Olise already looked special. He was their creative heartbeat, and the big move felt deserved. But let's be honest, we have seen this story before. Mid-table star jumps to elite clubs and suddenly disappears. And with just 19 appearances the season before, 50 million euros felt like a big gamble. Injury-prone, inconsistent. Was he really ready for a club like Bayern Munich? But it turned out brilliantly. From day one, Vincent Kompany did not ease him in. Olise started Bayern's Bundesliga opener game and immediately looked right at home. A month later, he was already flying, scoring in the league, grabbing a brace in the Champions League game against Dinamo Zagreb, and putting up 2 goals and 2 assists against Werder Bremen. That's 5 goals and 2 assists in just 7 days. But that was not just a short burst. Olise kept it going. Across all competitions, he's delivered 16 goals and 20 assists, including a Bundesliga best 17 assists. His connection with Harry Kane became lethal, and under Kompany he's not just stuck on the wing. He floats, drifts inside, switches flanks, threads killer passes, and on top of that he scores beautiful goals, like that Champions League rocket against Celtic. And here is a big shift. For the first time in years, he finally stayed fit. He is the only Bayern player to feature in every single Bundesliga game. 27 starts and 6 off the bench. He leads all the German in big chances created, nearly doubling the next player. And he is one of the most fought players in entire league, and that's a clear indication that nobody is able to stop him. His marquee matchup was against Mainz, where a 3-0 win sealed the title. In that game he managed to contribute in all 3 goals, assisting 2 of them to the partners, and also striking the final one. Internationally, he made his France senior debut in September, and then he scored and assisted in the comeback win against Croatia in March, turning the 2-0 deficit into a 2-2 result and sending France to the Nation League semi-finals. Bayern fans voted him Player of the Month twice, and even Thomas Müller praised him for his mentality and hunger. And this is the same player people said was not ready for the big stage. And now, after this season, he's proving that he is clearly the elite level. From one PSG comeback story to another, runner-up on this list is Ousmane Dembele. For years he was the football's biggest what-if. Blistering pace, unreal dribbling, but constant injuries and chaotic decision-making. Even by the end of 2024, PSG fans were still asking, is this all we are ever going to get from him? But then came 2025, and Dembele suddenly shifted into another gear. 33 goals in 46 games. From inconsistent winger to a full-blown goal machine. So what changed? Let's start with Luis Enrique's tactical decisions. The PSG boss saw something others missed. He gave Dembele the freedom to drift inside and even play as a false nine. One rival coach reportedly called this move the idea of the century, and it unlocked something in Dembele. Adding Kvaratskhelia as a rival at PSG and the new hyper-offensive setup with 3-4 wingers on the pitch constantly feeding Dembele, and suddenly it became a perfect storm. But the real difference maker was the fact that he finally stayed healthy. No more stop-start momentum. For the first time in years, Dembele strung together months of consistent football, and with fitness came confidence alongside with goals. In the Champions League he became PSG's decisive weapon. He finished ice cold at the Emirates, 1-0 in the semi-finals. And his solo winner at Anfield, maybe not the prettiest goal, but he was the only one who could score against Alisson. Back in Ligue 1, Dembele's impact was just as noticeable. With Kylian Mbappe no longer at the club, there was a clear void to fill, and Dembele stepped into that responsibility. Performances against teams like Monaco and Marseille were the proof of his growing influence. Last year Dembele was good, this year he is simply better. These are Luis Enrique's words of praise towards the French attacker. And with France he carried his club form onto the international stage, including a dramatic late winner against Croatia, which we mentioned before. Now, with the Liga Player of the Season award in his pocket and his name popping in the Ballon d'Or conversations, Dembele is finally living up to the hype that followed him for almost a decade. And you know what the next question is: can he keep this up? Because if this version of Dembele sticks around, we will be witnessing the full-blown redemption arc. And finally, securing the top spot is none other than Raphinha. Flashback to August 2024. Raphinha was packing his bags, almost out of the door at Barcelona. Expectations were mixed at the very best. Fans were not sure he would stay, especially with Barcelona openly chasing replacements like Nico Williams. Raphinha himself admitted that he was conflicted, even thinking about ending his career. But then everything changed with just one phone call from the new boss Hansi Flick. Flick clearly told Raphinha, "I'm counting on you," and that fact completely flipped his mindset. Out of nowhere, a player once anxious about getting subbed off under Xavi transferred into a confident leader. Flick even handed him the captain's armband, trust that Raphinha always dreamed of having. Tactically, Flick unleashed Raphinha. Instead of staying glued to the right wing, he had the freedom to roam, often cutting inside from the left. This setup showcased his lethal left foot, turning him into a goal-scoring machine and an assist provider. Flick called him a tireless warrior who pressed defenders non-stop, which perfectly suited to Barca's high-pressing style. Raphinha's new confidence sparked immediate results, becoming a true big game player. His signature performance came in El Clasico, scoring twice in an intense 4-3 win over Real Madrid, including a decisive goal created entirely from his tireless pressing. Another highlight was his heroic performance against Celta Vigo, where his 2 assists and a crucial goal completed an incredible 4-3 comeback. In the Champions League, Raphinha was simply phenomenal, tallying an astonishing 13 goals and 8 assists, matching Cristiano Ronaldo's record for most goal involvements in a single Champions League campaign. His dominance included destruction of Bayern Munich, a dramatic winner against Benfica in a 5-4 thriller, and a crucial late goal against Inter, which was sadly not enough for the team to reach the final. And also his Supercopa final against Real Madrid that was equally brilliant, earning the MVP with 2 goals and 1 assist in a dominant 5-2 victory. Even when not scoring, his impact remained massive, notably in a Copa del Rey final against Madrid, where his explosive attacks and pressing secured Barca's thrilling 3-2 extra time win. With such a great season, now at 28, Raphinha is at his peak. He went from transfer list to a Ballon d'Or shortlist in 6 months. And whether he wins it or not, one thing is clear: this season has introduced football to a new elite superstar. And that wraps up our list of top 8 most progressing players in season 24-25. Which of these players impressed you the most this year? Whose progress was the most unexpected, and who else deserves to be in this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. We are reading everything, and your opinions might be featured in the next videos. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our other videos. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.